All right, good morning, good afternoon. So we're in Unit 4, but we're starting Lesson 2 today, and that is how does the environment affect traits? So hopefully you're in TCI. We're going to go to number 2. Click on those purple words. All right. We're going to go ahead and look at the observing phenomena. So I'm going to click on that. And make this full screen. All right, so have you ever seen a group of plants that was dead? What are some reasons they could have died? That's what you should be thinking about right now. I'm thinking as I've been taking my walks through the neighborhood, there's been a lot of sticks that I have seen that have fallen around the trees and have been cluttering up people's yards. And as we've been doing yard work, raking up dead plants. So I've been seeing a lot of this lately. So right now, your job is going to be to pause the screencast and watch this little video. And then our question is, in the summer, most trees, well, something for you to see. In the summer, most trees have green leaves, but what happens to many trees' leaves in the fall and winter? Why do you think this change occurs? So our phenomenon for this lesson is that plants will die if they don't have enough water. All right, so I'm going to click out of this, and we are going to do the introduction and section 1. So I am going to click on text with notes, maybe. There we go. So we're going to be in an introduction and section 1. After the introduction, you are able to click on the orange buttons to figure out your answers to those questions. And then we will read section 1. And then the expectation for your science post today is that you do the check for understanding here. Again, note that there are 4 of these, so you'll click your answer, take a screenshot, move on to the next one, and so forth. So as you know, you can stay in TCI, or if you would like to annotate, you can send it to Notability like I'm going to do right now, because I prefer to annotate, and I like doing that with you. It makes me feel like a teacher, like I'm back in the classroom. So let me dance into Notability, and hopefully I can find that note. I do believe it went into weather and climate, but that's okay. Yep, here we go. All right, so how does the environment affect traits? So our science vocabulary is environment and learned behavior. Well, we talk about environment a lot, especially since Earth Day has just passed. So environment is anything around us that's outside. Also, we have a learning environment. So for example, when we were at school, the classroom was our environment, surrounded by desks and chairs and school supplies and technology that sometimes worked and sometimes didn't. That was kind of our environment. Our environment for learning has changed due to the coronavirus, and now we are learning at home. So our learning environment is surrounded by our family and noises and dining room tables and kitchen tables and bedrooms. So just a little side note for environmental background. All right, here we go. Why do these plants look dry and brown? And I did notice like the cracks. I was wondering, are those rocks? Were those supposed to be there? Or is that like how a driveway or blacktop sometimes separate? You will learn how the environment can cause an organism's traits to change. So remember, organism, that's just a living thing. Plants in dry environments may turn dry and brown. Many animals' traits, including those of humans, are also affected by the environment. So this is just our introduction, and I would say that our main idea is that many animals' traits, including those of humans, are also affected by the environment. So the environment is what's going to play a big role in life. So here we go. Section 1. So this is the part you'll be doing the checking for understanding on back in TCI. So some traits are not passed to the offspring. So remember last lesson we talked about offspring. These are just babies. All right. Have you ever seen a small stunted plant? It may have grown that way because it did not get enough water, or maybe it did not get enough sunlight. The environment caused that plant to have those traits. So two things. It didn't get enough water, and it didn't get enough sunlight. So if you think of cause and effect, not enough water, and sunlight caused it to not grow or be stunted. So cause and effect. So here's the cause, here would be the effect. An organism can gain, that means get, or lose traits in its lifetime. Some traits are caused by the environment and are not passed on from parents. The environment is all the living and non-living things that surround an organism. So just kind of like what I was talking about at the beginning. What surrounds you, living and non-living. A tree may have holes and markings on its trunk because woodpeckers drilled into it. The woodpeckers are part of the tree's environment. Flamingos are birds with a pinkish coloring. The chicks are not this color when they hatch. They get their color from the food they eat. The food they eat is part of the environment. So the food is part of the environment for the flamingos, and for the tree, part of its environment is the woodpecker. So up here, I know it's different in the notability, but because our picture is way at the top. Flamingos are not brightly colored when they hatch. They get that trait from their food they eat in their environment. So if we were kind of thinking benchmark, here's what we learned in this paragraph, but we learn more about it in that illustration up here with the caption. So you can see that the babies are like this pale color, and then they will ultimately turn this color. Kind of the color I was using with my marker, or my pen. All right, so again, dance back to TCI and complete the, that's not it. Complete the check for understanding in section 1. And please post that on Seesaw. And have a most spectacular